we appreciate you all for tuning in on another Loveless Marriage podcast. Blah. So, I'm kind of lost right now. Yeah.
Hi, y'all. It is Monday in Atlanta, Georgia, the week of heading into Easter. How y'all doing tonight? Hi, Facebook family. Welcome to the Loveless Marriage tonight.
So we appreciate everyone that's tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. Tonight, my name is Carl Butler, and this is my wife, Ebony.
I'm Ebony.
Yeah. So we both just finished fighting Atlanta traffic, so you all understand.
And if you don't understand, I don't think there's nothing to compare to Atlanta traffic. It is a beast. Even with 8 lanes of highway, it is still a beast. But we're glad to be with you all tonight.
Yeah, and so tonight we're talking about...
I'm going to tell you the topic because I'm looking it up too.
Yeah. His money, your money, our money. Let's put that up on the screen.
Yes.
Tonight's topic, her money, his money, our money. So what we're talking about tonight is going into marriage. This is probably the number one conversation you need to have is money. Money.
And I know Carl normally does the housekeeping rules, so I'm going to let him do that because as him being the executive producer, that's what he does, and I'm not going to interrupt.
No, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. So, number one, we want you all to follow us on social media. I didn't change that one. Follow us on social media at The Loveless Marriage, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We post these videos to YouTube every week. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel and like and share this video as you're coming in. We see everyone who's coming in. Daco, Shayla, Mama Kathy, Steven.
Hey, yes, we do say praise the Lord.
Yeah.
I
told Steven I'm a preach like him when I grow up.
He's apostolic.
And so, we want you all to like the video and share the video on tonight.
Yes.
Right there. I got a mouthful of cough drop. So, once again, follow us across all social media platforms. Also, today we announced our...
Save the date for our first Loveless Marriage event, and we want all of you all that can, even if you're if you are in the greater Atlanta area or close by, Tennessee, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, we're giving you a good reason to come to the ATL. And it's going into 4th of July weekend. So, yes, meet us June 30th from 6 to 9 at the Clayton State University campus. We are having the relationship guru, as I call him, David Burris, will be there. It will be an evening with David Burris from 6 to 9. Tickets will go on sale April the 2nd. We just put out the save the date.
Right on your screen.
So you guys can just prepare yourself. We like to give people time. We understand y'all got y'all's income tax back. We understand that your daughter or son might be going through prom. We understand that y'all might be saving up for graduation. So we are letting you know now, save the date for June 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. Carl and I and the rest of our Loveless Marriage family will be at the University of Clayton State University, and we guarantee you that it's going to be an awesome, good time. It's going to be an awesome, good time.
Yeah. And so also, before we begin, also hit up, people are inquiring on how they can have this professional looking Facebook Live video. Just send me a message. I promise I will come to you no matter where you at, and I will hook you up. Yes, this is Facebook Live, and we do have changing screens. And
yes, we extra. Yes, we extra in these streets.
Extra, so, and the reason why I look down for those of y'all who normally don't tune in is because, as Ebony said, I also executive produce.
So he's looking
edit while we're live. So
and I'm sorry, we just having a mumbo jumbo kind of day.
We really are.
It's all good though. I'm looking on the Facebook to see you all's comments. Pastor Tim Finley Jr. is watching us. I feel so honored.
Oh wow, that's big
Hi,
time.
Pastor Tim, all the way from Louisville, Kentucky. God bless you, man of God. But Sister Rita, Sister Allison, thank you guys for joining us tonight. And again, tonight's topic is her money, his money, our money. And I would honestly say, he said, praise the Lord, prophet and prophetess. Hilarious. But we would honestly say one of the biggest relationship, I won't say failures or crashes is finances. That is one of the biggest arguments that couples, new couples, old couples, whoever, couples argue about finances. Finances make people clutch their pearls and throw them across the room. So Carl and I, that's one thing that we discussed even while we were dating, finances. And I think if you establish those certain expectations about banking accounts, how many bank accounts are we going to have? Who's going to pay the bills? Down to the littlest minute thing. I believe if you address the finances early on in a relationship, you can save yourself a world full of trouble.
And coming into while we were dating and after we got engaged, going into marriage counseling, we were going through all the questions. And, we were knocking out all the questions. We were almost 100% compatible on almost all the questions. But when it came to finances, that was one of our lowest scoring parts of the survey. And so, but we had never talked about finances. We just came in. We was coming into a relationship, but we didn't talk about finances, and that is detrimental to a relationship. Right. All of that, fellas, all of that. Your woman telling you, "I love you. I don't care what you got. We can live in a cardboard box."
I'm not living in nobody's box.
Don't fall for that. Do not fall for that, because once you say "I do" and them bills ain't getting paid, it's gonna be a problem. And as the head of the house, they're going to look to you to make sure everything is taken care of in the household. And so the number one conversation you need to have, besides finding out do they love Jesus and all that great churchness, is what is the money looking like? Right. I understand we're in a very different society, but me being old school, I believe that men should work. That's just me. The first thing God gave Adam before he gave him a woman, he gave him a job.
Hallelujah.
He said, I'm going to give you the garden, tend the garden. Jesus. Once you have began working the garden, I'm going to give you someone to help. She's there to help, right? Not to bear the entire load, but she's there to help you with what you cannot do. Right. And so I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, is who's gonna pay these bills?
And I'll say this too. One thing that Carl and I did do while we were dating, we did set up one joint account together. Yeah. And we did say that this would be used for savings, because we knew that we wanted to get married. So we said, okay, you know what? We'll set this one joint account up, and this will be for us in preparation of savings, so towards our future. Now, again, I'm not saying after date number 3, you go out and start opening bank accounts. I'm saying certain things should be established, because like Carl and I, we joke about it, but we're all grown adults here, and finances are very important. So it was actually, I don't want to say a learning tool for both of us, but it taught both of us our saving and our spending habits. I will be honest and say that I am a spender. Carl is extremely frugal, but I shop to save, and he better not fix his face, but he has to be honest. You better not lie. I swear to God. He better be honest and say, I do spend money, but I save it very conservatively. I am a bargain shopper. I can find you a $300 suit for $50. If you don't believe me, I'm about to open my business soon. I'm coming to you. But no, seriously, I believe in spending money, but everything has its own perspective on how you spend. So, and I will even say with even relationship, just not spending money, his money, my money, but even I believe couples should talk about tithes and offering, because there are certain couples, which is crazy. We all grown up in church, we are taught, I was taught by my parents, that God gets his 10% even at a young age. So even I believe that you should even discuss tithing and offerings as couples, because you might believe in sowing seed and tithing and your spouse may not. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound all churchy as we always say, but y'all both, if we're walking together, we have to agree on how we're going to sow seed together in the kingdom. So I think that is something that is extremely important to talk about. Yeah. Even sowing seed as a couple.
And also, just looking at the title, his money, her money. Can you really say in a marriage, this is my money? Like, can you really say both parties work? No, people work hard.
Right.
Can you say this is my money? Is that logical to say within a marriage when two have become one? Can you say that this is my money, that's your money? You do what you want with your money, I do what I want with my money.
I say this. One thing that my parents taught me was about budgeting, and I even showed Carl when we were dating, like, this is how I run my house, because of course, like some of you all know, some of you don't, I have my 4 daughters enter into our relationship. Carl was single. So no offense, when you single, I'm not saying that you don't have bills, but you can blow it a little bit more freely. With me, I have to know how to save my money, and I have to learn how to strategize and plan out for things. So I'm very structural. So Carl can honestly say that, like, I sit down first up top. I know God is supposed to go first, but underneath rent, then there's God, and then there's the car and everything else. But I believe that you should honestly have a systematic approach to how you're going to spend things. I wrote down all of my bills, and I was realistic. And I think that's one thing people aren't realistic is they just say, oh, they put an amount. No, be realistic and be truthful about your spending, because it helps you see what you spend, and then it helps your partner see what you spend and see, okay, well, you know what? Hey, how can we save? One partner, and oftentimes it's like that, one partner may be great at savings and the other partner's not so great. So I would even say, who even pays the bills? You need to sit down and have that serious conversation to say who is more structured and organized to know, on the 5th, all the bills have gotten paid. This is how much money we have to save the cushion and move forward.
Yeah, even with that, I think sometimes as men, where I came into this with no attachments really, I didn't have any kids or anything. So coming from that single environment and just spending my money however I wanted to, and then I'm a disciplined person with money in the first place. I don't just spend money. So it's a curve to give the weight to somebody else. And what I mean by that is sometimes you think you can do it. You can do it all. You think you can make the money plus pay all the bills. Plus, I'm not good at paying stuff on time. That's just me. Not the fact that I'm lazy with it, but I'll be sitting there and say, "Oh crap, I forgot to pay the bill and it was due today." And so that's where I give to Ebony. Don't get me wrong. I call her or text her on the 1st or the 2nd and say, okay, the money's there to pay the house note.
Right.
And she takes care of that stuff. So she's good at paying stuff on time, but I'm good at making sure that the money's in the bank.
Right.
and so you have to find that balance. And once you find that balance, then you can understand that this is no longer our money.
Right.
Now, a lot of couples fall out because some couples come into marriage thinking that, and another thing you need to talk about before you get married is, are we going to have one bank account or multiple bank accounts?
I was going to talk about that next. Yes.
Now, a lot of couples come from the mindset, and no matter how you think of it, you're not wrong. It's just you need to have the discussion before you go in to marriage. A lot of couples say we only need one bank account. Me and Ebony, we have multiple bank accounts.
Right.
Like, honestly, I don't even know how many bank accounts she has. And she don't know how many I have. But the deal we made is our joint account, the main account, all the bill money would be in there at a certain time.
Right.
So, honestly, I don't care what she does with her money. I don't care how many times she gets her nails done, how many times she gets her hair done, how many shoes she buy.
He cares about that.
I care about that a little bit. I'm like, seriously. But
he be all right.
As long as the household is taken care of,
right.
I'm not gonna go out and buy anything that I like without the bills being paid first.
Right.
So you have to know how to have that conversation and say, okay, we're gonna pay these bills first, and then whatever you want to do with your money, the kids are taken care of, whatever. We'll take care of what we want later.
Right.
But I think the second conversation to have is the bank accounts. Are we going to have one? Are we going to have multiple? how are we going to combine our money to take care of the household bills.
Yes. And also, I know we sometimes take little station breaks, but we want to say hello to everybody that's coming on in to join us. Tonight's topic, if you're just joining us, is her money, his money, our money. And we are talking about the nitty gritty of finances. So, hello, Sister Allison. Hey, Sister Kenya, Miss Donna Good, Sister Rita Scott, Janae Talley, my mom, Nancy, Shayna, Imani, Vanessa Richardson, Andrea, Toya Jackson, hey Nicole, and Cam. But
yes, Hideko, Walmart is the devil. I just left there and spent way more than I intended on spending.
But yes, but I would say honestly, like Carl said, we do have our own separate accounts and we have a joint account. And for me, I will say I like the fact that it is, I don't have a problem putting in money, but I like the fact that it is separate because I would feel it's hard for me if I want to surprise my spouse. I can't surprise my spouse if they're checking the account and they're like, what did you spend this money on? I can't be like, I don't want to say I can't lie to them, but I'm like, I don't want to come up with something. But I believe that you should have, personally, I do believe, like you said, you should have one household account that handles all the household finances. And then you have your own personal account. Even it's crazy. Even when I was younger, my parents taught me to tithe to myself too. You not only tithe to God, but you pay yourself too. And I believe that if you are a hard working person and you going out here and you busting your butt working 9 to 5, 10 to 7, whatever, 12, 14 hours, you should be able to have fun. Now, don't have fun at the expense of where your home goes lacking, like Carl said. Wow. And I think that's really dangerous. I think people don't really are honest about that. I believe that you should sit down, like I said before. So number one, discuss, okay, are we going to have a joint account? And even if it's the conversation piece, okay, after you've said, okay, yes or no, we're going to have a joint account, sit down get a blank sheet of paper, write down every expense. One column could be your side, another column could be his side. And so you all can honestly, again, systematically see what all needs to be paid, because even some people think, and I'm not trying to bust your bubble, but you come into a relationship and you're like, oh, we're going to get married. We got extra money because he ain't paying rent no more. But keep in mind, if you get married, some expenses, like your spouse may not have insurance. So when we got married, Carl didn't have health insurance. So I took on putting Carl on my insurance. Hence, that did create another expense. So money that you may quote unquote think you're going to save in one area, you do end up spending. Now, there are other areas that we have saved in, but I think you really need to really sit down and really systematically plan out everything. And even if you don't save, I know some people, some couples I've heard have relationship wars on who can save the most money. Mm-hmm. Now that's fine and dandy. Even with that, I would say be realistic about how much you can save, because don't say you're going to save, I'm going to save $200 a month. And that's not in you to do. Yeah. If you can say, you know what, babe, we're going to have a savings account. I'm going to put 50 in, you put 50 in, that's 100 together. Start somewhere. Yeah. And also, this goes under finances, but even your credit, like that's a big conversation piece too, because your credit score may be one thing, his credit score may be one thing. That, if you want to buy a property, if you want to rent a house, if again, two becoming one, if one person is leaving an apartment and you're joining with somebody else, those are the honest conversations that need to be had. And I would say that is the one that you really have to put on your big girl panties or your big boy boxers on and really talk about it or tidy whities and be honest, because if you're not honest, finances can make you kill. I mean, people, no offense, people have killed people over finances, and they're like, I'm gonna kill you so I can get the insurance check so then I'm gonna be good to go. But no, seriously, I think that is a really big thing that people have a hard time. And if you all can't work it out together, I would say hire a financial planner.
Yeah. And when I look at the title, it came to mind, his money, her money, our money. it's funny, but we always say there's a saying that says that his money is her money, but her money is not his money, because as men, when you're the head, you have to understand that what you bring in the house, you are supposed to be the lead. You are supposed to be the supporting figure in the house. So a lot of times, your money is going to be her money, but her money is not necessarily going to be your money. Every woman, I don't care who you are, you're sitting there watching, and if it's you, give us some thumbs up right now. But every woman has that little secret stash that her husband don't know nothing about.
I don't got no secret stash.
That secret bank account, she lying.
I really don't have no secret stash.
That don't know nothing about. And it's all good. And another thing, it's crazy what I just thought about. We're both divorced, and if you're watching this for the first time, we do, between the two of us, have over 30 years of marriage experience
on what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, but one thing divorce teaches you is that when you come out of divorce, and this is how messed up it is, you start saving for what if, just in case.
Right.
Because when you go through a divorce and now it's over, you literally have to start all over. And then you say, I should have been saving money all along. Now, I'm not saying to consciously be saving money like it's not going to work out.
Right.
But you have to understand that things happen.
Right.
I mean, it could be a fund that just in case your spouse loses their job, you need to have money saved up. One time a financial planner told me that you all have to pick out a lifestyle that you can live off of one salary.
Wow.
Like one of the spouse's salary, because you have to always anticipate that the other person, they could get laid off.
Right.
They could lose their job. Anything could happen.
Get sick,
anything. So you have to pick out a lifestyle that you can support the household by yourself. And that's kind of one thing as men that we have to do. We have a habit of just society nowadays of picking out a lifestyle, whether it's houses, cars, whatever, that you're dependent upon your spouse's income. And then when God forbid, if your spouse lose their income, you lose everything.
Right.
That's one thing I did take away from the first time being married, is that whatever lifestyle we live, I have to be able to support that lifestyle by myself.
Right.
And so if I can't support that lifestyle by myself, I'm not going to enter into getting a house that's $2,000 a month, knowing that now I have to depend on my spouse, because if she's not bringing in that check, then everything's going to fall apart. And so a lot of times we try to live big, depending on two incomes, when you should be able to live off of one income. And that's how you begin to save money. That's how you can start taking trips and not going in debt. Right. Taking trips, not going in debt. Everything looks good until you pull the credit card.
Right.
A statement. Joel Trout, Bishop Trout, he said no finance, no romance. My aunt and Ebony said it don't make sense. Mm-hmm. But my aunt told me that when I was younger. She said finance. She said romance without finance is a nuisance. And so
I will say this.
That's what I've always had in my mind, that the money has to be right.
No, thank you, Bishop. I understand the no finance and no romance, but the side joke caveat to that is some of these new, I'm just going to go there. Some of these new 2018 relationships, me personally, I'm talking about myself in third person. She is not going to date somebody, be married to somebody, or even be courting somebody that is not working. I understand if you just got laid off, but if you have no desire, because there are some people, honestly, that just live off of their spouse and they don't want to try to get a job. They are really leeching off of their spouse. And I think you do yourself a disservice, and you also wear out your spouse. Now, if you don't have a job because you've been looking, now I'm not talking to the people that have honestly been out there looking, pushing your resumes, even trying to start your own business. But if you're just lazy and don't want to work, that's a problem. And you need to even evaluate that in the entry of y'all's relationship, starting your relationship. If he's not working now, you need to ask, why aren't you working now? Because some people, as they say, as what's her name? Maya Angelou, if people show you how they are, believe them. Mm-hmm. I believe that some character traits, and that's a character trait of being lazy and not wanting to work. And there are some young men, honestly, their mothers have taught them to be lazy. They're used to mamas taking care of them. I won't call them mama's boys, but they're used to mamas taking care of them. They're used to seeing their mom work, blood, sweat, and tears in and out the house, taking care of 2 and 3 jobs. And they think that a woman is supposed to take care of them. The devil is a lie. That's what's not going to happen. And I think we need to really be honest and teach our young women that there is nothing wrong.
Don't answer that.
You want to answer that?
Yeah.
Bishop said something. But there's nothing wrong with honestly having that discussion. If your spouse, like I said, if they're actively looking for work, that's understandable. Yeah. But if y'all just start dating, he just ain't trying to do nothing, I would have to question that. Even you can Uber, you can do something. There's jobs that they have telemarketers that sit in your house. You can sit in your house right now, be a telemarketer, watching us on Facebook Live and contact you can do something. I'll say that. I don't know what Bishop Trout just said, so I can't wait to hear this one.
Okay, Bishop Trout just asked the question, what if she, the spouse, is okay with the other not working? What if the wife is okay with the husband not working? I say, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, we have had that conversation. Yes.
What you eat ain't gonna affect my digestive system. So I say whatever floats your boat. But I also say I say that because I can look at things and be fair, because nowadays women are more educated than men. So in a lot of households, the wife probably will make more than her husband. And so sometimes it makes sense for her to work and him to stay home with the kids. Now, what I say to that is, I guess I'm just old fashioned, that as a man, I cannot just sit in the house and not work. Right. Even if Ebony made $150,000 a year and I was making $30,000 a year,
I receive it.
I could not just sit in the house and do nothing.
Right.
It would drive me up the wall, because again, we're talking about looking at this from a God perspective. The first thing God gave Adam was work. Like, it was in him. And so a lot of times when you find a man that doesn't want to work, that is, I'm not going to say what I want to say, because
I want to hear you say
it's just, but I just can't fathom a man who is okay with not working. I just can't wrap my brain around how certain men can just sit in the house and look at their wife and go to work every day, bring home her check. They're going out to eat on her check. They're taking trips on her check. Wow. And I understand situations are different. I've been laid off before, but I think the longest I've ever gone without a job was probably 3 months, because I was honestly looking for work. Right. But I understand that there are certain disabilities. I'm not talking about guys that are disabled, that are mentally handicapped. None of that. I'm talking about able-bodied, that can work, and that choose not to work. I can never wrap my mind around a man that doesn't want to work.
I'll say this. And to answer Bishop Trout's question, I guess from a woman's point of view, and I joke with Carl all the time, because I know one of Carl's desires is to be, do ministry full time. So I'm going to take a side note caveat to that. If I was in a position and I made $100,000 a year, and it would be more financially feasible because we had smaller, younger children, I personally may not have a problem with him staying home. But when he is at home, he's going to do what? He's going to work, because there are things that you can do around the house to lighten your spouse's load.
You know what's crazy though? When you just said that, I'm not even comfortable with you even saying that, because
I was just using that as an example.
I understand, but it's just.
I know in you because you old school.
Oh my God,
he is really, 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 really old school, which is fine. I love it. It's great.
Drives me crazy.
But I will say this again. I'm just saying, if I had that, if me and you had that talk, this is hypothetical. I will say this. Yes, you can still be at home and you can still work. You can get up and get the children ready for school. You can get up to make sure that their clothes are ironed and packed. You can do the laundry. You can fold the clothes. You can make sure that certain things are taken care of. You can pick the kids up, take them to doctor's appointments. There are certain things that you can do to make her load easier. That is what I will say to that. But if you're just not doing anything, if you are in your car just riding around gallivanting through the wonderful city doing nothing while she is doing everything, I personally feel that is somewhat disrespectful. And again, like Carl and I say, everybody's relationship is their own relationship. So please do not stone us, try to castrate us, cut our heads or throats off. But I, Ebony, feel like it is somewhat disrespectful to your wife or even to your husband. If you out there blowing his check and he come home, ain't nothing cooked, ain't nothing clean, the kids is running around like wild banshees in a zoo and things is off the chain. No, if I was a man, I would feel some type of way about that too. I would.
And see, and even in what you just said,
I'm sorry, I got a little emotional.
Even if everything was in a position where I could do ministry full time, what I see as ministry full time is also running a business, because I have businesses that I want to start. I have businesses that I have started that I can't pursue full time. You know,
I have talk about. Go ahead.
Okay, I have currently 5 books on Amazon, and I'm trying to write another one now. But it's so time consuming that I want to write. And so a lot of times, and what I want to talk about is those who are in full-time ministry.
I was about to go there. Go ahead, Carl. Take that lane.
Listen,
drive that lane.
I'm tired.
Try that car.
I am tired of seeing this hashtag. And listen, before I say this, it's no hate towards anyone, because everybody's not called to full-time ministry. Right. There are some that God has called that preaching really has become their job. Nothing wrong with that. If your schedule is booked, if you're booked 3, 4, 5 times a week and it's consistent and God has called you for that, God bless you. I wish I could do it. I mean, no hate.
Right.
But everybody is not called hashtag preaching is my job. That's not everybody's calling. It's not.
Right.
When you're called to that, your schedule will reflect that.
Right.
Look at it like this. Every disciple Jesus had, he had to pull them off of a job.
Come on now, you preaching.
And not only did he pull them off of a job, some kept their job while they was walking with him.
That's right.
The fishermen were so successful. Their business was so successful. They left their business to their families, and their business was able to sustain their wives and their children for 3 years as they followed Christ.
Come on now.
But they weren't following him doing nothing. They had a treasurer. They had
there was doctors, there was lawyers,
a doctor with them, a lawyer. Listen, God ain't called you to full-time ministry and you ain't got a job, because having a job demonstrates to God, I know how to handle responsibility. Wow. Having a business demonstrates to God, I know how to handle responsibilities. So I have no problem with those who are in full-time ministry and your schedule reflects that.
Right.
But if you talking about you full-time ministry, you got 2, 3, 4 kids and a wife, and you only preaching once every 2 weeks, you need to get a job. Like that's just I don't, and I'll say this because I don't really care what people think about what I say sometimes. But if you are a preacher and you ain't working, I don't respect that. My dad does not respect preachers who don't work, period. Every pastor I've had, I've respected them and I sat under them because they have a job.
Right.
Because they show they can take care of a family, that they show that they can maintain a job, a business, whatever. Stop saying you're full-time ministry and you have to raise 6 offerings on Sunday. You're bleeding people just to feed your household and you're just barely making it.
Wow.
That's not full-time ministry. That's fleecing people. That's robbing people. Wow. that's taken from Peter to pay Paul. That's not full-time ministry. If you don't have a congregation that can sow into your life, and the pastor can reap a salary from that, right, you're not full-time. You're raping the people of God. And we have this image of full-time ministry that all I got to do is preach. Right. No, that's not ministry. Ministry is starting a business. Ministry is counseling. Ministry is doing motivational sessions. Ministry is talking to kids. Like, there's so much more involved. Jesus had his own business. He was a carpenter. Like, his dad, his father was a carpenter and taught him the family business. Like, Jesus had a job. Jesus had to walk. He didn't start his ministry until 30 years old. What do you think he was doing from the time he was a child to the time he turned 30? He was working. He wasn't just off performing miracles, off seeking God. Your job is not to seek God all day. Your job is to work as a man. Right. So that's...
And that is Carl Butler's rant on full-time ministry. Right, it's like, not ain't no rant. But no, I was going to talk about that too, because I think oftentimes in this day and age, to me, the perception of full-time ministry versus, 2018 versus when I was a child looks totally different. Yeah. So we really need to be honest about what that looks like. Like Carl said, for some, full-time ministry may be on the weekends, I'll say Thursday through Friday, you're out preaching. Monday through Thursday, you're maintaining a full-time job. To me, that what maybe full-time ministry looks like. I agree with Carl 1,000%. I don't believe that you should overly tax the people of God just because you are so worried about that heavy burden of your, I don't want to say people are milking their pastor, because they're not milking their pastor. Yeah. But I do know of certain churches that will take up several offerings just to make sure the pastor is paid. Do not get me wrong. I believe in sowing into your pastor, because we sow into our pastor, we sow into his ministry. But we also know that our pastor has a job and our pastor works. So I will say that there is no reason that you cannot work, period, point blank, unless you are disabled. And like I said, even if, again, you're starting your own business, that is ministry working. But you have to, it just has to be a balance out there. And I know of plenty of preachers, and I know it's hard because I know of preachers that go to work, working 9 to 5. Then after 6 o'clock, they are counseling. They're doing their Bible studies. They're there, attending events for their children, and they are working their butts off to the bone. And I salute you and I appreciate you, because you are not trying to rape your congregation. I don't appreciate the ones that aren't doing anything. Mm-hmm. If you got 5 members, you need to be working. I'm sorry. 5 members don't constitute you not working. Yeah. Not sowing something. Even pastors sow seed, I believe, should sow seed in the ministry. We don't want some other tangent. We're supposed to talk about hers, finances. But I will say this. You have to be, if you're a ministry, and even with that, I would say, we are talking about finances, even budget that. I mean, Carl and I, Carl puts on a conference every year, and that is even budgeted within our household expenses. We set aside money for that. It's not just, we're going to sit here, and no offense, I know some people only depend on, well, we're going to get the ticket sales. That's how it's going to pay for everything. No, we believe that you have to sow into your own, you have to sow into your own ministry as well. You can't wait for everybody to always sow and pour into your ministry. You have to sow. Bible talks about, God giving seed to the sower. Why not you sow into your own ministry? Mm-hmm. I don't respect people to be like, oh, well, I ain't put none of my money up front. You should have to buy something. Yeah. And I just believe that's just good business principle, period. So yes, we did get into a little tangent about money and ministry, but again, getting back to what we were talking about, because you went clean in.
No, I'm just saying though.
But it is a true factual thing that a lot of people, deal with. It's true and factual. So we're gonna go back. You're passionate about it, honey.
No, I mean we're still talking, and I'm actually write a book on that because what came to mind, and when I was thinking about it, in Corinthians 12, I think 12 and 26, 16, Paul was talking about that. Paul was saying sarcastically that the people was accusing him of taking their money. Like, you came here just to take our money. And then Paul said, wait a minute, I gave more than I took. Like, I wasn't a burden on you. That's the word the Bible uses. Paul said, I was not a burden upon you. And a lot of pastors, they're a burden upon their people because they're taking more than they're putting back into the congregation. So, but it's the same thing in a household. And now I understand, when the Word of God talks about, the qualifications for being a pastor or a bishop, that you have to know how to first run your own household.
Right.
Because if you don't know how to first work that job, work your own house, you're not going to be successful in church. You're not going to be successful in ministry or in business, period.
Right.
You have to, I'm sorry, but you have to man up. And I know a lot of these young men are growing up with single mothers and they see mama take care of everything. So growing up in their mind, they think a woman can take care of everything.
Right.
But it was never designed to be like that. Growing up, I saw my father take care of everything. So that's what was implanted in my mind. And so now I try to model myself after what he did. And so we have to change this thinking as men that a woman is working to take care of you. Think about all you men who have left your families and not taking care of your kids. Think about the message you're sending to your kids just by you not being there and them seeing mom have to take care of everything. You're sending a message to your sons that a woman can take care of everything and you can sit back and chill. Right. And then you're sending a message to your daughters that you're supposed to take care of a man. Like, I've never seen women like in this generation, but they are fine taking care of a man. They don't even think about it. They go off to work, leave their car. They get dropped off at work in their car. He go do whatever he want to do all day.
Right.
And then come pick you up. He late picking you up. And you're fine with that. That's something that's just messed up with how we think about how the household is supposed to be run. Your money as a man is the household's money. You do whatever you can do with what's left over. But overall, you are the one who is charged with taking care of the household financially. Now, whatever deal you and your wife have worked out, if it's beneficial for her to work and you not to work, then that's fine. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying it should be something in you as a man that even if you are home, you should still find something to do within the household. You should still be working, not just sitting there playing video games all day, or not just on social media all day, or just hang with your friends all day. It should still be something in you. I don't care if you go out in the yard and start a garden. Like, it should be something in you that says, I want to work.
Right. We've gotten a lot of
baby boy.
We've got a lot of interesting comments, but like we were saying in the beginning, I do believe that you should have, again, multiple accounts. You should have one account to just pay strictly the household bills. I believe that you also should have your own separate account for things that you want to do or things that you may want to do for your husband. And then you should have an account for a nest egg account as well. And it's just not, savings accounts. We have a great friend that, is talking to us now about how we should set up our 401ks, different stocks that we need to purchase. Because it's like, if we be honest, with our generation, we never think about tomorrow. We always, people always say, you always just live for the day, understand the moment, soak it in. Yes, you can live for the day and live for the moment, but tomorrow comes. What do you have planned for tomorrow? And I believe our generation honestly needs to really sit down and think about, what do I have planned for tomorrow? Yeah. What inheritance am I leaving my children? Even the Bible speaks about leaving your children an inheritance, not being a burden even on them after you pass on to the other side. And I would say, even a part of finances, one key important thing is because we've seen a lot of deaths lately. Do you have your death benefits taken care of? You know, it hurts my heart when I see online, GoFundMe accounts to pay for funerals. That hurts my heart because that is a huge burden and responsibility that now when that person, God rest her soul, has passed over to the other side, now everybody has to handle that. And that could be taken care of as little as $20 a month. Yeah, you can budget that. $20 a month can save your family a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. And those are the small things that people don't think about. Oftentimes, like I say, we only think about living for now and we don't set ourselves up. We don't set our children's children up. We don't leave them a legacy. And no offense, I told Carl, I want you to be, if I don't want to die no time soon, but when I die, I want you to be paid. I want you to have some money. So yes, I do have 2 death benefits because I don't want my husband to struggle. I don't want that for him. I don't want him, if God forbid medical bills come in and he has to file bankruptcy or whatever because of me. Like that is a very, I would say, because I've experienced that personally. I've seen that personally. And that is a really hard thing for a family to have to scrape money together, put money together, and then be at peace with putting their family to peace in the right way, because nobody just wants to slap their family member in a box and put them together and then call it a day. Nobody wants that. Life insurance is very important. It is key. It is key. So even when you're doing your finances, no offense, as you budgeting to get your new hair weave, as you budgeting to pay your insurance, put down life insurance. Take care of your children's children. Take care of your husband and spouse. That's being respectful for even when they pass on. You're securing their inheritance for when you're not here. So I will definitely say that. And like Carl and I said, I believe, again, having multiple accounts. I believe in sitting down, writing down everything, and with an honest and truthful figure. Don't go in lying saying that you only spend $30 a month on clothes. That's a lie. Be truthful. And I will say this, even before Carl and I got married, when I was going through my divorce, we both, I don't care about telling my business because it ain't a big deal. We both filed bankruptcy because I didn't want to bring my relationship debt from my prior marriage into my new relationship. And that's a big thing too. People often bring their old debt from their previous relationships, from their previous quote unquote life. They bring that into their new marriage. And now somebody else is paying for finances that they weren't even involved in. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying go out and everybody start filing bankruptcy. I'm not saying do that because that may not be for everybody. But my own personal feeling was, I don't want my spouse to pay for things that I incurred while I was married to someone else.
Yeah. Well, have the conversation.
Yes.
Have the conversation. How much you make? What's your debt? Credit card? Student loan? Because if you don't have the conversation, it's going to affect the marriage down the line. So
it really is.
You have to just, and then be wise, man. Like,
right.
Don't. Just be wise.
Right. I guess finances is a little emotional evening for us tonight. We're a little emotional, passionate. Hopefully we have not lost any Facebook friends because of our belief system and value.
That'd be all right.
But we're being truthfully honest. Angela said her car is clean when he picks her up and she's happy, LOL. But
yeah, that's what I was trying to think about. It left me when I just came back. Also, when you're figuring out the household money, it's also a good thing to start putting money aside so that you can not just be working just to pay bills, but right. You can start actually enjoying life. Not just enjoying life, but actually investing in yourself. Me and Ebony, we have a lot of different expenses associated with our businesses, like whether it's website fees every month, whether it's whatever. You have to invest in yourself and right. Invest in your spouse, because you're no longer separate. So when one make it, both make it.
Right.
And so that's another big thing. you have to make sure that person can handle how much you make. Right. So a lot of people cannot handle how much their spouse makes, especially if it's a lot more than they're making. You have to lose this idea that they're making more than me. No, that's our money now. We're coming together. You can't say, and I think this applies more towards men than women. Really? But you gotta let it go. You gotta say, we're married now, so not only am I going to take care of these bills, but I also have to lose my money from my vocabulary, because y'all are a team. Like, right. You're not competing, and a lot of times that gets mixed into the financial structure of marriage. It's that one couple starts competing against each other who can make the most money, right. And then another couple is saying we're a team. Right. So together we're stronger together in every area, including our finances. And so, listen, y'all gonna be together for the rest of y'all life, 30, 40, 50 years if if y'all make it through this whole finance thing. Right. So stop looking at it as we're competing against each other. No, you're a team. No, you're on the same team. Teammates who compete against each other, they're not teammates. They're on opposing teams. So you're not on opposing teams. You're not competing against each other. You're on the same team. Y'all going to the same bench, the same locker room, the same showers, riding on the same team bus, flying on the same plane. There's no use competing against each other because you're a team.
Right. So I do believe that, you're coming together. You have to be single-minded to say, what are we both going to bring to this table finance-wise, be realistic in the approach of what you spend and talk about it. Now, even we didn't even really dig deep into it like we could have, but, even be honest with your spouse. Even if you have a shopping addiction, there may be some things that you may be addicted to that your spouse needs to know in advance so they can be prepared, because that's going to be their burden. Especially if you're in debt, especially with student loans, if you both of you all are coming out of college and you got to sit down, and trust me, Sally Mae is not your friend if you don't pay her on time, because she will take your tax money.
Sally Mae is an evil.
Jesus, Navient's not always your friend when they take your tax money. So you need to really sit down and be honest and say, how much debt do you have? How much debt? This is how much debt I have. This is how much debt you have. Let's work together. I know of plenty of couples. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we kind of got a little tangent in the middle, but I know of plenty of couples that honestly have pulled each other. They both have pulled their credit reports, and they sit down and they go through what can we pay off together, because we want to win as a team together. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what you should want. Yeah. I want his credit to be good because my credit's going to be good. I want our credit to be wonderful so we don't have so much burden, so we don't have that stress, so we can be able to afford the things that we really do want. And like I said, have the honest conversation, as Carl and I always says, have the honest conversation. Pull that credit score up. If your beacon score is not where you want it to be at, have that talk with your spouse and say, you know what? Help me. Help him, help her. Do what you have to do, because if he wins, I win. If I win, he wins. We both win together.
Yeah, so we appreciate you all for tuning in tonight. I know we kind of got off on a tangent in the middle. We apologize for that. But
he got a little passionate about finances as a ministry. So,
but whatever. It's our show, so we do what we want to do.
But then, we don't want to lose visitors. But we are glad y'all came in. We try not to go on tangents. And since this is live, we cannot edit that whole big chunk in the middle out. But seriously, have those talks about finances. Have those, because it is needed. Yeah. Finances can really make or break a relationship. And, your goal at the end of the day is to, live together peacefully.
So, once again, follow us on social media. It's right there on the screen.
I do not like him.
The Loveless Marriage at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. All these Facebook live videos will also be on YouTube. So please go to our YouTube page, The Loveless Marriage, and subscribe. We're trying to hit at least 1,000 subscribers this year. So we want you all to subscribe, like the page. Share and like this video tonight. And once again, if you're just now joining us, the Loveless Marriage, our first event, June 30th. The save the date is on the screen. The Loveless Marriage presents an evening with David Burris, relationship expert David Burris.
Yes.
So we want you all to save the date. I believe tickets, we're going to put tickets on sale on April the
2nd. Tickets will go on sale.
April 2nd.
So we can tell you guys how much they were for a couple. You don't have to be boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. For 2 people, 2 for $25. For single, $15. Yeah. And again, April the 1st. Please check us out. We will be putting the tickets on sale. We want you to invite everyone to join us for our first Loveless Marriage event. We promise it will be fun, very informative, and really educational.
Yeah.
Really educational.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. So if you like this video tonight, give us some hearts, give us some thumbs up. We appreciate everyone who tunes in every Monday night. I know we got started late tonight, so we didn't want to hold y'all too long.
Even though we did, but it's probably our fault. We're all right. We're sorry.
But once again, the South Show, we can do what we want to do.
So. He's so stupid. And it's Atlanta traffic's fault. But no, but we honestly we joke, we're laughing about it, but we don't take it lightly that you all choose to come in, let us into your home. So thank you. Share it. Even if you didn't like what we had to say, talk about it amongst your friends, because then that'll make them want to watch us. And then, hey, it works out for all of us. They might like the topic that we talk about next week. And even if you want to share your comments, feel free to inbox us at, I believe it's the Loveless Marriage at gmail.com. You can even hit us up on Facebook. We may even pose your questions next week, and we'll talk about them and discuss them because we want to hear from you.
Yeah. Oh, we hope you all have a good night. And please visit our social media pages, and we'll see y'all next Monday on the Loveless Marriage.
We might have to do this again. Yeah. The finances again.
Yeah, we got to race those.
Good night, y'all.